Welcome to the channel if it's your first time here, and welcome back if it's not. Now in today's Fix It Friday, which is sponsored by AliExpress, we're going to be looking at this. And this is the Game Boy Advance that I looked at recently that had a faulty power switch, which turned out to be a bit of a nightmare to change. But yeah, it's all working perfectly fine, but it still looks absolutely terrible, and it's missing a battery compartment. I thought I would take this opportunity to reshell it and also fit an upgraded screen, because the screen on this is terrible. Let me just quickly show you. I've got this Flash GBA cart, which allows you to play backed up copies of all your legally owned games. I picked it up on AliExpress. I think it was about 15 or 20 pounds. I mean, yeah, you can see straight away that the screen's not very good. Now this is different from a Game Boy Advance SP that I looked at recently, because this doesn't have a backlight on it at all. That did have a backlight on it. It didn't make the screen much better, but it made it marginally more visible. But yeah, it truly is terrible. So yeah, I have got myself a screen kit and a new shell. Now I did ask you in the video that I made about this what colour shell I should go for, and I sort of didn't listen because I found one that I really liked, and I don't think anyone suggested anything like this. So this is the new shell. It looks a little sort of grey and dull, but what I really liked about it is it has different coloured buttons, and the A and B buttons, which are sort of hidden in there, yeah, they're funky colours as well. And I just thought it was a little bit more interesting and a little bit less obvious than a sort of solid colour or a transparent shell. So this is the one that I've opted for. Along with that, I've got this replacement screen kit. Now they came together as a package and they cost me around about £50. Now you can buy the screen on its own, and I think it's around about £40 to £45. But I thought getting the pair made sense, and also you do have to do a little bit of cutting if you've got an original shell to get this laminated screen in position. But if you buy the shell with it, there's no cuts required. So yeah, it made sense. And this is a laminated screen, so it means that there's no fiddly brackets or anything like that to line up. You just put the screen in position. And I think the Game Boy Advance has two types of screen connector. There's a 40 and 32 pin. And this kit works for both of them. Some kits you do have to buy specifically the 32 pin or 40 pin version. Now if you wanted to buy yourself a screen kit from AliExpress or anything else for that matter, if you use the coupon codes that are on the screen at the moment, then you can get some money off. Now the coupon codes do have an expiry date which is on screen, but if you look in the video description, I'll make sure there are some up-to-date ones for whenever you're watching this video. So yeah, we need to crack this open and basically transplant it into our new shell and fit the new screen as well. You can do this as a relatively straight swap with no soldering whatsoever, but if you want to access the settings menu of the new screen, then you do have to do some soldering. The soldering should be pretty straightforward, and I'll show you what you need to do later on in the video. But yeah, you don't necessarily need to do the soldering. So if you don't have a soldering iron, it's not the end of the world. So now I think we need to get into this Game Boy Advance and get working on it. So let's get out the grey mat and do that. There we go. Right, let's turn this over. Take out the cartridge. Don't need to worry about the battery compartment. Actually, before I take this out of the case, make sure you give this video a like and maybe subscribe to the channel too if you haven't already. That would be really appreciated, and it will help my channel get to 30,000 subscribers, which I'm getting pretty close to. But even if I've gone over 30,000 by the time you're watching this, let's get up to 100. Let's go crazy. Let's get a plaque and everything. So to get into a Game Boy Advance, you need to undo these 6 Y screws and this one single Phillips head screw. So while I'm getting this unscrewed, let's shout out my channel members. Channel members have gone one step above subscribing to the channel, and they actually offer a small monthly donation to help support it. If you want to become a channel member, then just scan the QR code in the corner of the screen or visit the link in the video's description. Anyway, our channel members at time of editing are the Kip fans, who are Matt Lovely's JLC Electrical, For the Burbs, Wayne Cornish, Scott Made a Thing, Draco MacGyver, Rebecca, Giggsy, Christiane, Francesco Demare, Music Me and Jim Wood. Then you've got to get up really early to beat the Kip early birds, who are Tim Salt, Sorcerer Stan, Mark C and Rob Lynn. and I love these people so much I want to kiss their little foreheads. They are the kip lovers, and they are Bella Webster, Stez Stickspix, Lawrence, Scott Kendall, Props Retrofix, Coaster Chelsea, DD Media Production, Lee Benz, Alan David Hughes, James and Danny, and Alex Bennett. Then, these lovely people are the Kip Nutters, and they are Becky Boobar, Alan Green, and Danielle Adele. And then, boom, right at the top there, we have got a Kip Mental, and that is RJ Prate. Thank you, RJ, for your continued support. It really is appreciated. And big love to all my channel members, no matter what level you're at. Anyway, I think we're done. Right, now those are done, we can just pull away this cover. There we go, so that can go for now. Right, so now we need to undo the two little tabs either side of the screen ribbon cable. They're a sort of grey, browny colour. So it looks like I've got the 40-pin ribbon connector because it says 40 at the end there, so yeah. Right, so now we need to get the motherboard out of the shell, and we just need to remove these 3 Phillips screws. If you've seen this part of the video, maybe put, nice screwing action in the comments. I like to see who's paying attention and who isn't just skipping forward through those kind of bits. Right, okay, so we should be able to lift the main board out now. So yeah, we're just left with this half of the shell, which we don't really need now because it's just the screen in there and the buttons and the rubbers. I guess it's time to have a little look at our new kit and see what it includes. Okay, so it comes with a brand new Game Boy Advance sticker to go on the back of it. Okay, wow, we've got like a complete set of screws. We've got some new buttons and a new D-pad, new power button. I suppose you want them all to match the case. And then, yeah, we've got a set of new rubbers. Cool. Interesting test. Are the new screws magnetic? Yes, they are. Excellent. A lot of cheap cases and new cases come with screws that aren't magnetic. Those ones are. Excellent. That's cool. Okay, well, I might use all new screws then. Right, I think I'm just going to take the plastics and things out of this side of the case, just so they're not flying about when we're fitting the new screen. We're sort of ready to fit our new screen. This is going to go flying through. So the kit comes with some wires that we can solder if we want to do the menu. I will do those in a mo. And there we go. We've got our 2 types of ribbon cable there. I do indeed have a 40-pin motherboard, so let's just move the one I don't need out of the way. Right, so we've got to get the sticky backing off here at the bottom. And that's the adhesive that will keep the screen into our frame. So now we need to put it into the case. We need to make sure that these little wires, which we'll talk about in the mo, go through properly and don't get snagged. He says nearly snagging the wires. Just wheedle it into position. Excellent. And yeah, I've got the screen protector on still. So these guys that are flapping around, they are our touch sensors. So you can do some things with just the touch sensor. You don't need to go into the menu. And we need to stick these into our case. So it's really fiddly, but you have to peel off the tape. And it's sort of just down to personal choice where these go. I'm going to stick one of mine down there in that spot. And I'll just stick the other one up here. There we go. Not perfect, but I think that should be just fine. Okay, I think what I'm going to do now is get our little red wires onto the main board. So we need to switch to the microscope. Now, like I said before, if you don't care about the on-screen menu, you don't need to do this soldering. It is entirely optional. But yeah, let's switch over to the microscope so we can look at the main board a little closer. So we've got 3 wires to connect up. That's L, R and select. So first of all, our L wire goes here to TP9. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit of flux onto TP9. Yeah, just get a bit of solder on there. Nice. And then our next one, which is TP2, that is our select button. So again, a little bit of flux. Lovely. And we've got to head over to the other side of the board, the TP8, and that is going to be our right connection for the right button. Looks like a little veer, that's okay. Right, so now we've got to solder the wires on. Now the wires are sort of heading towards the top of the board. So yeah, make sure you kind of solder them in that direction. So our TP8 will be kind of going up here. Just giving it a little clean, entirely optional. Right, so let's head back over to TP2 to do our select button wire. I think with the routing of this one, you have to make sure you don't go over where the pads are for the controls. And then we've just got to do one more wire for TP8, which is going to our, anyone? Bugler? It's going to the left. So now we're looking at the back of our new screen and we've got the points that we've got to solder those wires onto. So again, I'm just gonna get some flux. Maybe just a tiny clean. Right, so I'm just gonna put our new ribbon cable in. So the gold connectors have to be facing up on this side of the board. And then yeah, we just put it there and lock it down. Lovely. We have to have the black side up going into the connector on the new screen. Make sure the little plastic tab is in the up position. Get it lined up. And then yeah, we've got to solder our little wires in. So let's do our wire that goes from TP9 to our L. And then we've got our wire that comes from TP8 and that goes to our R. And then we've got our wire that goes from TP2 and that goes to our select. Do you know what? I'm just going to get a little bit of Captain tape just to hold those wires down. It just means when I take it out of the case or whatever, there's not as much strain on it. Right, so now we need to start building up this side of the case so we can flip this over and put everything down flat. Silly old me, I didn't have my microphone on for that last bit, so I had to use the secondary microphone, so it might have sounded a bit odd. We are roughly back together. I've put in 2 of the screws either side of the PCB just to give it a bit of downward force, and also I'm using the little case that our replacement screen came in to lift it up off the surface so the buttons sit down flush-ish. So if I just put in our 3rd screw and then tighten up the other 2, we should be able to get our rear case in position. The rear case holds on the shoulder buttons, so it's quite handy. I'm going to get this put back together and then we can test it and see how it goes. So yeah, I've just got to put those 7 screws in. And hopefully we should have a working Game Boy Advance with an amazing colour screen. So let's use the power of YouTube to get it back together. Let's get some batteries in. Let's turn it off. Must have switched it on when I was putting it back together. There we go. Let's pretend that didn't happen. Right, let's flip it over and have a... Wow, look at that. Oh, that is so cool. That is lovely. Oh, I've still got the screen protector on. Let's whip that off. Boom. That is smart. I love the colours. I'm so happy I went for this choice. Yeah, I really like that. It's like, what colour would you like? Yes. Right. But does the screen work? We know it boots, so we haven't caused any sort of catastrophic damage. But can we play a game? Does the screen look any good? I think I'm just delaying things because 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow. That looks good. That looks really good. Like, you couldn't even see that before. Let's go into Super Mario Advance that we loaded up before, which you couldn't really even see. The difference is just mental. Right, let's just investigate the menu. So we have to hold down select and the left and right triggers. There we go. Right. So if we press select, it goes through the different options. So we've got brightness. That's its brightest. Let's take it right down to its lowest. Okay, yeah. So like it's completely off when it's on 1. Okay, if we press select, that'll take us down to color mode. And these are just sort of, they are a little bit pointless. I think they have more use if you're playing Game Boy games on this. But yeah. And then we've got the pixel effects. So this adds scan lines. Or you can turn it off. And then we've got desaturation. So essentially that just sucks the color out of the picture, which just seems stupid. But you know, if it's a bit too bright for you, if you don't like bright things. Right, and then what else we've got? So we've got FRM, that's essentially to do with transparency on Game Boy games. Don't really need to worry about that. Oh, you can turn the touch shortcuts on and off. We'll leave it on. So just tapping the touch sensor, that cycles through the brightness modes. And then if you hold the touch sensor, that's a really bad time to show you it, but it adds the scan lines. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's have a look at it, how it was on one side of the screen and how it is now on the other side of the screen. I don't think I need to tell you which is which because, well, it's pretty flipping obvious. Yeah, I love these kind of mod kits. They are so good. And it's transformed a console that was just ratty looking and probably unplayable because of that terrible screen into something that looks absolutely perfect. It's just so good. So good. Well, if you enjoyed this video, maybe go and check out where I've done similar to a Game Boy Advanced SP. The case that I got for that is insane. I really love that one. I don't know quite which one out of the two of them I love the most, but it's a pretty close run. Well, maybe actually the SP one, but go and see for yourself. And yeah, I really hope this video has been helpful for you. If it has, then please make sure you give it a like. Make sure you leave me a comment. That would be really appreciated. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell to get a notification when I put up new videos. Subscribing to a channel is absolutely free. It costs you nothing. So yeah, that could really help me out. And I suppose it'll probably help you out for me to disappear now. So yeah, I don't think I've got anything else to say. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But for now, it's game over.